And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Arnold Holonet News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. Come on in, where today we're talking about the final requirement and probably the best requirement for Bo-Katan Mandalore, and that's going to be Kelleran Beq. Let me just say, I'm looking at this kit. This seems really darn good for a marquee character. I'm looking at this, and we just talked about the Beskar Mando Lightspeed bundle in case you missed the card in the top right-hand corner. Long story short on that one, it's got great value. Maybe not as cool as some of the previous ones, but still some amazing value associated. But I was looking at this like, why couldn't Beskar Mando's kit look this darn good? You know, we have to wait and see an execution. When you look at something, you know, it depends how it reads and how it actually performs, what the developers actually intend. There's going to be a lot of checks, but the way I'm looking at this, Capital Games seems to be eyeing the Galactic Republic Jedi, giving them a little bit more firepower. Now, they mentioned Qui Gon Jinn specifically in here, and I can totally see Qui Gon Jinn enjoying the benefits of Kelleran Beq with all of the juicy stuff he's got going on. But he has also got a leadership ability, which makes me want to think maybe they're trying to target like a third string Galactic Republic Jedi team, you know, because you got Jedi Master Kenobi, which he's not just Galactic Republic Jedi, but then you got Qui-Gon, and then what if they want to take advantage of like the bottom of the barrel stuff? And I'm looking at this might bring things like Luminara Unduli and her Omicron, a very unliked Omicron in the game, could become a big deal. Let's not keep any more suspense. Let's go take a look at the kit and we can try to piece this together. But overall, it looks pretty darn good. And they just, I guess, we'll clarify some of this. They call it the best Jedi kit reveal because the guy who plays Kelleran Beq is Ahmad Best, who is more famously known for voicing and doing the mocap for Jar Jar Binks. So in case you're wondering, oh, he's not the best Jedi. It's Ahmed Best Jedi. Okay. I know someone's gonna be like, he's not the best Jedi. So just want to make sure I explain the joke there. Let's just quickly shoot through all this stuff. Can I just, I say this a lot, but I had to look at this a couple times. I thought this was just a screenshot from Mandalorian season 3. Again, the artists who do this stuff, top-notch work. I really wish the Galaxiers could look at least 10% as good as this character art that the artist put out. Nonetheless, I digress on that point. Attacker, Galactic Republic Jedi, and a leadership as well. There's a lot of stuff this guy feels like he can do. Galactic Republic Jedi synergy, always a lot of fun. Padawan Lesson is going to be a new status effect, and they're bringing in a status effect that only Leia Organa has, second win. Padawan Lessons is a new status effect that provides extra bonuses based on starting protection. I'm spoiling it right now, but it seems like Relic 9 is going to be a big deal for this team. They've been really trying to lean into, you know, the more relics you have, the more extra benefits you're going to get. He's going to make a pretty big splash in territories with his Omicron ability. Yes, we have territory Omicrons. I'm not crazy about it, but you know, look at what I'm going to Territory Wars is here. Beck incorporated with the Qui-Gon Jinn team creates a nice addition to the holotable and dual lightsabers. Maybe say more. Always a lot of fun to see dual lightsabers. Kelleran Beq was a Jedi, in case you didn't see it. Spoiler, he was a Jedi who saved Grogu at the temple during Order 66, as seen in the third episode of Mandalorian, The Foundling. And all this, just a lot of backstory here, but the thing I want to get into here is because Kelleran is most famously known as Protector of Grogu, we leaned into protection being a very big part of his mechanics, and it's gonna be a big one indeed. And I think I'm gonna come back and read the stretch tips because it's gonna make a little bit more sense afterwards. Marquee event, as per usual, will be Thursday 11 a.m. Pacific time, and you know, I hear we got this video gaming division here. Looking forward to testing this guy out. And then Padawan Lessons, we're gonna see it can go up to 100 stacks. And let's get into that kit reveal here. Basic ability, Saber. Stability. Deal physical damage to target enemy and gain foresight to a random ally who doesn't already have it. If it's Kelleran Beq's turn, attack again. Doesn't make a lot of sense until you read the rest. So why don't we just keep moving on? Lightsaber training, cooldown of 3. Deal physical damage to target enemy. And this is where we start seeing a lot of big stuff here. Deal physical damage to target enemy. All allies gain offense up for 2 turns. Call all Galactic Republic Jedi allies to assist. You guys know mass assist abilities are so powerful, so much fun. If you notice, I didn't really talk about Jedi Master Kenobi in our early introduction, like what I think this is going to be about, because there's a lot of anti-galactic legend stuff, mainly calling out Jedi Master Kenobi. If there are no other allied galactic legends, I guess to be fair, it could also be Jedi Master Luke. Allies recover health and protection equal to 50% of the damage dealt until the end of the turn. Otherwise, they recover health protection equal to 5% of the damage dealt until the end of the turn. So I just want to put it out there, just because there's anti-galactic legend stuff doesn't mean he can't work with Jedi Master Kenobi. There just will be a lot less stuff as a result. You know, it's like, for example, Leia Organa. People are like, oh, you don't understand the game. Well, Han and Chewie aren't supposed to work with Leia, but they do. Just because they exclude something doesn't mean they can't be a part of the fun here. So just making that entirely clear. Let's move on to Special 2. Jedi Bravery. It's got a Zeta. Cooldown of 2. Dispel all debuffs and all allies. Okay, so far we got a Mass Swarm. We got a Mass Cleanse capability. Deal physical damage to target enemy and deal an additional 20% of Kelleran Beq's max protection to the target enemy as true damage. You might be like, okay, just hold on, okay? Just sit down, get a little Jawa juice. Let me explain why this is gonna be a lot more deadly than it's coming across here. 20% of Kelleran Beq's max protection. Let's start getting into this. So here is the leadership ability. And again, 4 marquee characters seem substantial, but the reason, so either this character's gonna be bonkers, or if they are trying to make a 3rd string Galactic Republic Jedi team with things like Eve Koth, Luminara, a Jedi Councilor, potentially Kit Fisto, you need a big leadership ability to make deadbeat characters into something usable here. So kind of a couple perspectives to keep in mind here. So Galactic Republic Jedi allies have 50% defense, 40% tenacity, 30 speed. Always like getting a nice chunk of speed in the lead. Defense, don't undermine it. I know we don't like to talk about datacrons, but defense usually, you know, it's a part of the core datacron experience at one point or another. Defense datacrons can be really nasty on this team. At the start of the battle, all other Galactic Republic Jedi allies gain stacks of Padawan lessons equal to the number of stacks on Kelleran Beq for the rest of the battle here. Let's just keep reading so we can understand, you know, see everything here. All Jedi allies gain 4 except for 2 turns at the start of each encounter. So kind of, you know, it's kind of a little Qui Gon Jinny here. But let's look into this territory wars, and there are no galactic legends. So, you know, primarily no Master Kenobi, no Jedi Master Luke. This is where you get a lot more stuff cooking. It's hard to say if this leadership alone right here will be useful in Grand Arena. This could maybe just be a thing for territory wars with this Omicron, but let's check it out. So all allies need to be Galactic Republic Jedi on top of this. At the start of battle, allies gain additional 5% offense for each stack of Padawan lessons on them. And if you remember, you can have 100 stacks. So yeah, that's a lot of offense. You know, 5 times 100. Gary, do you want to do the math? Why are you pulling up the calculator? It's 500%, okay? That's a lot, but then it's also double. Wow, they have foresight. 1,000% then. Now again, if this is trying to make like Luminara, I'm gonna Kid Fisto, Jedi Council are good, you need a lot of stat, you know, manipulation like that. Because again, if you take 1,000% of one, it's not nothing that special. But if you take 1,000% of 10,000, that's a lot. So again, math is kind of important here. And then here we go. Whenever an ally with protection uses an ability during their turn, they're going to constantly call random allies to assist them. We still didn't even get to why I'm talking about protection, but keep in mind, protection is going to be a big thing on this team. The first time each ally loses all protection, they recover 50% turn meter. That's kind of weird. Usually it's they gain 50% turn meter, so I don't know why they chose that. I don't think I've ever seen recover turn meter. Okay, anyways, let's move on. They gain 150% bonus protection for 3 turns, which remember is based off of max health, and then they gain 10% critical chance, critical damage, and offense, plus an additional 2% for each stack of Padawan lessons on them. And while Kelleran Beq is active, allies have 500% defense. That's kind of what I was saying. I think defense datacrons could be nasty. While another ally's protection, Kelleran can't be defeated. Again, this sounds like a Qui-Gon Jinn 2.0. This sounds like, again, I think I could just say it. This sounds like the Qui-Gon of Territory Wars, and Qui-Gon's the Qui-Gon of Grand Arena. You know, I think that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's kind of like Ahsoka Tano is the Wampa or Savage of Territory Wars. So they're trying to bring some of that love over. But we've been saving this. Holy crap, look at the sneak ability here. Jeez, my gosh. For a marquee character. It makes me so mad, because I wish Beskar Mando's fresh in my mind, so I keep bringing it up. But, you know, it's like... Anyways. Maybe he'll be good if Bo-Katan Mandalore. Anyways, the Sabered Had. It's got a Zeta here, and let's start reading it. If all allies are Galactic Republic Jedi, Kelleran Beq, and there's no Omicron in this. This could work for Grand Arena. Kelleran Beq loses 40% of his max health and gains double that as max protection. I know there's still more to read, but I just want to gently ever remind you, Jedi Bravery. he's going to deal additional damage to 20% of Kelleran Beq's max protection. Okay, let's just keep that in context still. We're not done. For every 10% protection Kelleran Beq has at the start of the battle. This is really going to depend on what this looks like, but I can imagine if it's kind of the health protection I'm usually used to, this could be big. He gains a stack of Padawan lessons for the rest of the battle. Okay. That's how we're going to start off, depending on how much protection he has. That's how many Padawan lessons we get. And we saw the variety of benefits that Padawan lessons offers. Well, Kelleran Beq has protection. He's going to have 100% counter chance. 50% chance to attack again. Whenever he uses a basic ability, kind of feels like Terran Malikosi. He can do like multiple attacks. And he can't drop below 100% health. And I think this is very anti-gas. Gas hates when you start losing protection. You can't lose any health. It doesn't work like that. All right, but we have more. Check this out. If there are no allied galactic legends, whenever a Galactic Republic Jedi ally is inflicted with healing immunity, they gain 40% protection up and tenacity up for 1 turn. But we're not done. There's one more thing. Whenever a Galactic Republic Jedi ally is inflicted with target lock, they recover 20% health and 20% protection and health and gain 10% turn meter. So this kind of makes you wonder. I think they're trying to make the Bad Batch have a bigger counter, because what's one of the typical counters used in Grand Arena? Because remember, this is applicable no matter what. Doesn't need an Omicron. This is very much so, it feels like an anti-Bad Batch thing. So it's kind of like all of a sudden, Cere Juna, one of her common counters was Bad Batch, and Malicos completely shut down the Bad Batch. I'm kind of getting that vibe here. The Bad Batch are getting another kick. They're nuts right here. I don't know what else to say. That's kind of what it seems like. The Bad Batch, man, they're kind of going through what Imperial Troopers are, where everyone's trying to shut them out of the party. You can love it or hate it. I know people are going to love the fact that Qui-Gon's common counter just got, it seems, decimated. Maybe it can still work, but it's going to be more difficult. If Kelleran Beq is the leader and not in the ally slot, the first time he would be defeated, he instead recovers 100% health and protection, gains a bonus turn. Otherwise, if the allied leader is a Galactic Republic Jedi, so maybe Qui-Gon, and they're not a Galactic Legend, so no Kenobi, no Luke, they gained second wind for the rest of the battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. And I will remind you what second wind does. Big shout out to Salacious Scrum here. They really should describe these more, because otherwise, second one's still kind of a new effect, and Leia is the only one who has it. The first time this character be reduced to 1% health, dispel all this buff, and recover 50% health and protection instead. So that's what it does. So basically, if let's say, for example, let's read that one more time. If there was an allied leader in the Galactic, if there was an allied leader, Galactic Republic Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn, let's say, they gain second one for the rest of the battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. So the way I'm reading this here, oh no, let's read Padawan lessons. For each stack of Padawan lessons, this character gains 20 defense penetration and 5% off it. So they're gonna be hitting really darn hard. So the way I'm reading this here, it kind of seems like in a Grand Arena setting, you can really prolong Qui-Gon Jinn survival and maybe just keep him alive, because generally the Qui-Gon strategy, either cheese it up, try to maybe have him go after Ki-Adi-Mundi and Qui-Gon Jinn survives, or you want Qui-Gon Jinn to die and then Anakin does a big boom. This is going to be very interesting. I love the look of this character. I kind of, not that I don't like Qui-Gon, he's not really the best defensive team, but also it's like, it kind of feels like if you're using Qui-Gon on offense, you're kind of gambling a little bit. This feels like the Qui-Gon consistency in Grand Arena just went up. And who knows, maybe there's a possibility inside of territories where we might be able to utilize maybe a third tier Jedi team. I mean, even Grand Arena, I don't know if I can promise it for Grand Arena, but very good chance we might have a third team. You got a Qui-Gon team, and then you'll have a Kelleran Beq with the leftover Jedi, because we have a lot of leftover Jedis. We're going to go back and take a look at Luminara Unduli. Let me go back to the strategy tips they have up here. Hopefully it makes a lot more sense. A lot of protection to this team, a lot of offense ramping mechanisms that we got cooked in here. You will want to mod Beck a little differently than you're used to for agility-based attackers in Galaxy Heroes, because we get stacks of Padawan lessons for every 10,000 protection. And also, he's going to do a lot of damage based off his protection. Even though he's an attacker, you don't need to mod him for offense. Critical damage, I think, is what they're trying to say. And the way I understand this, he gains extra value with protection primaries, kind of like, think of Darth Malak, something like that. Or Lord Vader, whatever. Giving players another option rather than just the offense and critical damage primaries they're used to. Hope that makes sense. And also, they do some math here. Remember, for every 10,000 protection you get, one stack of Padawan lessons. Each stack of Padawan lessons gives you 20 defense penetration and 5% offense. So the end result is 10,000 protection equaling plus 20 defense penetration, 5% offense, allowing you more room in your modding since you're going to since you are getting 2 more stats for free. And this is where Relic 9 I think is going to be incredibly helpful. It sucks he's not a tank, because he'd get a lot more benefits out of Relic 9, but this again seems like Relic 9 could be a nice addition because it really helps with the survivability aspects of these characters here. So hopefully there's a reason why I saved that for the last part. I think it makes a lot more sense. Protection is going to be the way to go. Let me hop you back on over to the game here so you can see a couple things that I catch by. Again, I can't promise this, but you know, there might be a chance that somehow with all these offense ramping negatives, the mass swarms, the cleanses, the anti-Bad Batch stuff going on, we might be able to get these leftover Jedi to get something good going on. And remember, you can get 100 stacks of Padawan lessons, and it also gets doubled and all this other funny stuff here. Very good chance we might see something with these guys. I mean, there's a lot of Jedi that are being underutilized. I mean, yeah, I use some of them with Cal. You know, I do something stupid like hit Fisto with Cal or something like that. But this might be a more dedicated team. And I want to bring up Luminara Unduli. Pop it on your tactile scanner for you guys to kind of chew with me here. Master's Healing's Blessing, an Omicron we were excited for. The problem is, though, Omicrons that aren't like tied to unique abilities are definitely not as useful, and this just didn't seem helpful. You know, I mean, yes, you could find a use for it, but it wasn't like an Omicron people need to rush for. I want a reason to upgrade this Omicron. Dispel all debuffs on allies. So we have another cleanse. That's number 1. Allies gain tenacity up for 2 turns. Luminara gets 50 stacks of speed. Okay, but check this out. The stacks of heal over time, which she grants with Master Healing's Blessing, when they get triggered, whenever heal over time from this ability triggers, hold on, let me back up. All right, so stacks of heal over time gained from this ability trigger whenever any heal over time from this ability triggers, limited once per turn. And whenever they trigger, they also recover 20% protection. What did we just establish? Protection is going to be massive on Kelleran Beq. So this makes it seem like he's going to be quite difficult to kill off if he's going to be getting 20% protection recovery. And then while allies have a stack of heal over time from this ability, they have 100% critical avoidance. Yeah. And are immune to turn meter reduction. Like, again, it sounded cool when it came up, but we just never really found a good use for it. Now it feels like this might be a good use for it. And then whenever a stack of heal over time from this ability is dispelled, you reduce the cooldown of this ability by 1, so she can keep spamming it. Other allies of protection can't gain these bonuses, and these stacks of heal over time expire on other allies who gain protection up. So I'm not saying, you know, rush to Luminara Unduli. Testing will probably show something, but I want to believe Capital Games, they see that there's this Luminara Unduli Omicron. You know, maybe they were expecting to really be more adapted. It really wasn't. This might be that opportunity to really see Kelleran Beq utilize the Luminara Unduli, as well as the variety of leftover Jedi that are sitting here. But all I can say as the final thoughts, again, for a marquee character, this seems, again, we have to wait and test it out. This seems to be the most impressive out of the bunch with the Bo-Katan Mandalore requirements. Keep in mind, they all need to be Relic 7, so remember that. Kelleran Beq will be needed Relic 7. I mean, Paz Vizsla's cool. I wouldn't say he's, you know, game-changing before Bo-Katan comes. IG-12 and Grogu, I still haven't made a video on it. I think tomorrow we'll just finally talk before Kelleran Beq comes out. You know, he's cool, cute, but not really, you know, nothing that you can like utilize right now. And then Kelleran Beq seems to be something you can utilize before even getting Bo-Katan Mandalore. And then Beskar Mando, you know. Let's not bring up all that history on the guy. And, you know, at least he's useful for a Lord Vader counter, and that's kind of it for me. Anyways, stay tuned. We're going to be testing this out later this week on Thursday. I'm looking forward to trying this out. Again, it seems like on paper it's going to be great. One of the best out of the Bo-Katan Mandalore requirements. Not going to be a part of the Bo-Katan team. I do wish, in hindsight, they would have done some more Mandalorians. You know, maybe like Wolf or something like that to really maybe lean more into Bo-Katan Mandalore. Kelleran Beq really, at least to my knowledge, has not a lot of connection to Bo-Katan. So I think that's my only criticism, but the guy looks really darn good. It's Galactic Public Jedi. He's got 2 lightsabers. Freaking another Jedi team. How can I complain? And just like that, I can't complain about the love and time we spend here together. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And until then, always remember how it's great to be in the Empire today.
Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.